for anybody that's asked to take part, I would say, I don't think you're going to come to any harm by it. You might hopefully be helping somebody else in society. Might be 30 years away from now, but it would be nice to look back and think that, you know, maybe for your children, your grandchildren, to say, my grandma helped me, you know, I've now got something wrong, but if it wasn't for her efforts, there may not be a cure. Because I like to think that everything I do is helping somebody get cured of something eventually.
I think if everybody, you know, does a little bit, and it doesn't have to be, you know, research, you know, it could be, there's lots of people do, you know, charity runs for, you know, things, but I just felt that it was something that didn't bother me. Just having blood taken from me or needles put into me, it just doesn't bother me, so I felt quite happy to contribute that way. It's better than running a marathon.
I think I've just been looking for an opportunity to do something while I was still healthy that would help, and you know, if I'm lucky, it'll have some benefit for me when I'm older. But that wasn't. It was just because I could, and I felt I should. So that was one part of it. And then the other side of it is just an awareness. Like I say, my dad died in his 50s of heart disease, and high cholesterol runs in the family. And Aunt died of it I think in the 60s. So it's just, I've always kept an eye on I've always been told to keep an eye on my cholesterol, and going along with something like this, I do get medicals from work these days, and they do quite thorough medicals on you and give you blood tests, but every opportunity, again, it's the scientist and the engineer, sort of, well, if they measure it like this over here, what sort of variation do you get in all these things?
I wouldn't have been able to get pregnant without the participation of other people in previous research projects. So I also feel immense gratitude to previous participants that they've done possibly similar things to me, and that has enabled me to have a lovely baby. And so now, if I can help another generation of couples trying to get pregnant, that would be wonderful.
And all they were asking to do was basically collect the placenta, well, the umbilical cord, because it's cord blood, once you've given birth, and you give a blood test, and that's it. It's very, there's no intervention, there's nobody's harmed, no fetus is aborted, nothing like that, and so I didn't have any objection to it whatsoever. I thought, well, you know, they're only going to chuck it away anyway, so why not do it?
So for me, there's always an element of research in everything I do, and so it doesn't frighten me when I hear people want to use tissue and blood and things like that for research. That's how we make progress, and it is to the overall benefit of mankind. So good, I'm glad about that, and if I can get some benefit out of it as well, there's a double bonus.
Well, I think it's quite a fun thing, you know. It's in one strange way, you're in this worldwide trial. There are people from all over the world. You know how many people are going to be involved. They send the results to Belgium, and it's just a feeling of you being important to them at the same time as them being important to you. And I think that it just adds to the control.
As long as I can help somebody, I'll be happy. Because at the end of the day, if I can save one person with the research, I will help them. Won't be in my lifetime. Maybe in their lifetime it might be a youngster who's abusing and using drugs, alcohol, sex all over the place, STTs, whatever you call it. You've got to do this research. Research means to me that if you don't Well, research means to me, if you don't do research, how are you going to learn in this life?
So the thought of just sitting, waiting for the disease to take over seemed very alien. And so I thought the only proactive thing that I could do about the disease was maybe to take part in any research. I wanted to do something, and I read about the MND DNA bank. And it said they could take blood from anybody, and I thought, well, at least that's something I could do.
And I just go in and say, anything else to volunteer for. It's a passion that I have to give as much as I can, as often as I can, to as many as I can, and just keep doing that. And obviously the rewards are immense within oneself, because you realise some way along the line you are helping another person.
The neurologist was very enthusiastic with the result, well, about the results he'd received so far, and he was hopeful that in the relatively near future he would be able to publish something that would help in the diagnosis of MND. Certainly makes things worthwhile. I mean, I would carry on anyway, even if such encouraging words weren't said, but it obviously inspires one to carry on or with the research.
So so there you are, you're in a difficult situation. What are you going to do with it? Well, there are two things: enjoy life to the best you can and work with it. And you know, if there's anything in the meantime that can be done to help me, fantastic. But my other view was that if I could help others, I had nothing to lose. So this is how I got involved in offering my services to research. I was fairly particular about it in that I was happy to do any research, I was happy to give any samples, sit in machines, have MRIs, anything that was required. But the one thing I was against was having to go through any pain barrier, unnecessary pain barrier. So the one thing that I've eliminated from any research is things like lumbar puncture. But otherwise, here I am, and happy to discuss things with people, talk about my experiences, and anything else that medical research wants, I'm there for them.